What's up, my dudes? Every player makes huge mistakes all the time. From some you can learn, but you might not even notice some, especially if they're wrong fundamental ideas that guide your whole playstyle. Today I want to explain what I perceive to be the number one fundamental mistakes players generally make on T side and on CT side. These mistakes, especially the CT side mistake I'm going to dive into, are things that even the so-called pro players like, for example, Maun, or teams like Horizon or Upsug Gaming sometimes get fundamentally wrong. Hope this helps, enjoy. Now, starting with the T side, in my opinion the most fundamental terrorist mistake that players make is not taking the initiative because they are afraid of dying. Especially in random lobbies you might encounter the situation where everyone assembles somewhere close to the bomb site, for example here on A and Kitchen. This happens to me all the time, but none of your teammates want to jump out first because they don't want to die, and instead the whole team is just waiting for some stupid CT to get too aggressive. What you have to understand on terrorist side is that the cities only have to hold their bomb sites, A and B. And if you don't confront them directly, there's no reason for a smart CT holding an angle like this here. If you are not pressuring him and if you're not jumping out, there's no reason for him to come towards you and push you. If you have your whole team here, or a big part of your team, they will notice very soon, especially if you jump around here in apps like teammates often do, or throw grenades or something like that. Now, the longer you wait with taking the side from the moment that the CTs get info on which side you are pushing, especially if the balcony guy, for example, spotted the bomb coming up apps or something, the more time they have to rotate additional players over and take more map control towards, in this case, the B side. If you keep sitting in apps, nades are gonna start flying in, and since you are working such a small area here with a lot of your teammates and none of you wants to progress further and everyone is just staying here waiting for better weather, these nades will start hitting multiple people. And with every hit you take, it's going to be less and less likely that you actually take the initiative and push the bomb side. And at the same time you lose map control towards the other bomb side, so the longer you wait, your options are going to be more and more limited. I think this shows pretty clearly how bad it is to delay your own pushes after the enemy team gets to know about the push. So, how can we avoid the mistake of delaying your pushes because your team does not want to push? Someone will have to take the initiative, and if no one else is doing it, you have to do it. Firstly, you have to know that dying is part of an entry fragger's job description. When pushing a bomb site, especially if you're rushing, someone will have to go in first to draw enemy fire and to get the team info on how the CTs are set up on the bomb site. For example, someone has to know if someone is sitting here under a kitchen door, or if someone's playing towards Z or holding A short. Someone will have to figure that out. If you are the one getting this information, you are very likely to die, because obviously you're the first target that the cities are going to shoot. But if your teammates come in behind you and trade kill you and clear the bomb site in this manner, then your death was everything else but useless, and you had a very positive impact on the round, even though you died. So the first part in avoiding the mistake of delaying your pushes is taking the initiative. If your teammates don't want to push first, you have to do it. The more confident you seem, the more likely it is for your teammates to follow you. The second part is communication. Of course, if you jump out kitchen alone while your teammates stay in apps and wait for better weather, your death will be pointless, and in order to avoid that, you have to make sure that your team comes in right behind you when you take the initiative. If you play with people you know in a voice chat, you can obviously count on to 0 and then jump out together, but even with randoms you can coordinate a side hit at least a bit. You can do that by, for example, writing a time in the team chat at which you start breaching the site. Let's say, for example, you tell your teammate push at 1 minute. Most of them will know what you mean, and hopefully they're all on board. Also, throwing opening utility can help you to signalize your teammates when you want to jump out. What I like to do, for example, as opening utility here, is throwing the smoke, and then I go in the side with this flash and hope that my teammates are with me. Also, if one of your mates shows the same signals that he wants to be the entry figure, then be a good teammate and push in with him. If after you give clear signals your team still does not push in with you, you have my full permission to call them bots in the all chat. Now, coming to the CT side, what I perceive to be the number one CT side mistake is holding a side too passively. Something you really have to understand is that being on site as a CT is not enough. You actually have to control who enters it, and you need to know as early as possible if someone comes even close to the bomb site you're meant to defend. Obviously, staying alive is very important on CT side, but you still have to be willing to take risks that could win you the round by, for example, by getting crucial information. If you play spots that are easy to clear for pushing Ts and don't get you info, you are quite useless to the team. Instead, before your first enemy contact, you should play more offensive spots that get you info and maybe even a kill, and from which you can fall back easily without getting punished. Those are called fallback angles. You have some time to set up in those spots in the beginning of the round. If you have to fall back because you're getting pressured hard, fall back to angles that are hard to deal with for the terrorists. Now, what I mean by dominating the site is very easily shown on A side on Province. If you play A side on Province as a CT, don't start the round by sitting in the site. You get your team close to no information. The only info you probably get is someone running up A long, but most Ts will slow walk up A long, so you won't even hear them, and you won't get any visual cues at all, meaning, for example, you have no idea if the bomb is anywhere close to the site. You get your team no map control, you don't support any of your teammates, because you're really isolated from everyone else if you stay here. It is easy to cut you off from the rest of your team. For example, if someone just holds an angle like this, you have no way to get out, and because of this you can't even deny bomb plant, because if you sit inside you don't control all the areas that the terrorists could plant in. Because there's this tiny spot where terrorists also can plant in, and you can't deny the plant in this spot from sitting inside. You will have to swing out, and of course if you try to kill this guy planting the bomb here, you're suddenly open to all the guys possibly coming from A long that you didn't know about a second ago, and also to someone probably pushing up mid. If the Ts supporting the bomb planter just hold this angle, you have no chance of actually denying the bomb plant, and thus you have failed your basic task to deny the terrorists this bomb plant. What you should do instead is utilizing the time early in the round where you can still get new map control. On A side, this means that early round you should be pushing along with the teammate, at least to this degree here. I like to flash myself into this angle, jiggle peek it and maybe double peek it with the teammate, and then if I get no info I like to jiggle this angle. Hold it for a few seconds, fall back, hold for a few seconds, fall back. If you play this as a fallback angle, meaning that you don't take any files, as soon as you get info you take another angle further into the side, but not quite sitting really passively in the side. You can get a lot of info by playing like this, and it is harder for the Ts to get even close to the side. Additionally, because Province is such a large map, getting early info is going to enable your teammates at the other side of the map to rotate in here in time. For example, if you spot the bomb rushing up here, you can delay the terrorists by throwing down smokes and grenades, and your teammates from B will have a certain amount of time to rotate over before all the terrorists arrive here at the site. Of course, if you have to and if you get pressured hard, you can fall back, but if you don't get pressured hard and if someone is only firing a few shots at you and then not turning up again, you should definitely cling to this map control and keep trying to contest this part of the map. The key here is to keep dominating the side as much as possible. Hope this was sort of understandable. These are mistakes that really annoy me because especially when I play random competitive, these happen to my teammates all the time. And even if I watch pro teams play, these are mistakes that often cost them round because they get the fundamentals horribly wrong sometimes. Hope this made you a bit smarter, and peace out.